In the heart of West Africa, people drive on roads which don't deserve to be called that. They're dusty dirt tracks which don't appear on any maps. They can only be traveled on with great effort and during a few months of the year. Risk is a passenger on every trip. In Mali's bushland, in the Savannah of this West African country, there are few fully developed roads. The dirt tracks seem to make erratic lines on the parched plains. Most people here don't own a car. Minibuses, pickups and lorries commute between the villages. On market days, there is intense activity. Many traders and customers are on the road. Since the dirt tracks are unpredictable and the vehicles are in bad shape, each trip becomes an adventure. In the past few years, Abdoulaye Dombele has been driving for a transport entrepreneur. He's a focus driver because no one is immune to unwanted surprises on the dusty dirt tracks. Abdoulaye knows many of his passengers. In order to keep them happy, he talks to them. He wants them to feel that they are in safe hands.
Accidents happen all the time here. There are so many bends in our roads. God has blessed me with luck. Since I've been working, I've not had an accident yet, but cars keep tipping over. The roads are in bad condition. Not a month goes by when you don't hear of a car having tipped over. The drivers who are not from here, they just go too fast.
Abdoulaye's passengers are traders and merchants. They travel from market to sell their goods. They only take the minibus in the dry periods. When the rains come, they travel in boats. Cars would get bogged down in the mud and water.
We are done for when the water disappears between Jafarabe and Tenenko. Then there are a lot of potholes and the dust is awful. Now it's just torture. But that's the way it is. Whatever work you do, you can't run away from it. Only when God releases you, you can get away from it.
For about 7 months, between October and May, it's dry. Then it's high season for transports over land. As soon as the first rain comes, the region turns into one huge sheet of water. In central Mali, in the Massina region, the river Niger, one of the mightiest rivers in the world, floods large areas. The dirt tracks disappear. Only when the water retreats can the villages be reached by vehicle again. What is left is sand and dust. The dry, hot northeast wind from the Sahara, the Harmattan, brings even more dust. In March and April, the temperature soars to over 50 degrees. It's misty for weeks on end. Vehicles have trouble picking their way between broken earth and washed-out forts. It takes time for new dirt tracks to be created. The heat makes people short-tempered. An argument between the carriers who are loading up a truck. What's it about? Probably only the one who is most upset knows for sure. His co-workers hope that the racket won't last long. They prefer to preserve their strength. The work is strenuous. Countless bags of onions, dried fish, millet, spices and mangoes need to be loaded onto the lorries. They often weigh 30, 40 or more kilos. There is hardly anything that isn't taken on, be it an individual piece or a mass product. It's all a question of price, space and goodwill. To ensure that the lorries don't tip over, the heavy stuff goes at the bottom, into the middle if possible. Sekou Ndaye knows about the importance of correct loading. He and his colleague, Diadjé Maïga, have been driving their lorry through the savannah half their lives. Although they are not blood-related, and each is his own boss, they feel like brothers. Togetherness in the bush and the challenges of the job have forged a bond over the years.
The routes are dangerous. At first, it seems easy to drive between the bushes and trees. But if you go fast, accidents are quick to happen, especially around bends. Traffic has increased. There are more mopeds, more cars, and more donkey carts driven by the villagers. If you think, I know the way, there are no potholes, and you drive fast, you can easily bump into a cart driver or a moped, or you crash into another car.
Next up after the goods are the animals. They travel together with their owners. To make sure nothing is lost during the trip, the load is secured with ropes, cords and straps. Diadjé and Sekou are responsible for the transport. They have to make good for any loss or damage. The passengers are the last to come on board. How they get up there is up to them. They take their goods on board too, so they can always keep an eye on them. It takes time for everyone to find their place. The people wait in the heat for the departure. There are always arguments about who sits where. On top of the driver's cab is the most comfortable place.
Hey, tell him to fix the water canister. The water canister. Take it off there and fix it here.
Whenever possible, Diadjé and Sekou drive in a convoy. That way, the drivers can help each other out in the event of an accident or breakdown. Some latecomers arrive who also want to travel. The drivers wait for them. They depend on every single customer. As long as Diadjé and Sekou don't arrive too late at the next station, no one will complain. For now, everyone is glad that the trucks are finally moving. Even if there are initial difficulties. The passengers are stoic about the fact that the trucks drive too closely to the trees and they get hit by branches. If they were going any faster, this could cause serious injuries. The trucks struggle through the savannah like swaying ships. The land is dusty and dry. Strangers would get lost on these trails, as there are no signposts showing which dirt track leads where and when. Sekou knows the region like the back of his hand. Even so, he has to concentrate.
If you have a full load, for example, and there are people sitting on top of that, You have to be careful how you drive because they could be sleepy. If they doze off, don't hold on and the car tips to one side, they could fall off. And they could also fall off in bends if you go too fast.
The passengers who sit on the edge have to make sure the hard spikes of the thorn bushes don't hit them in the face. Their eyes are smarting, and their strength is waning. The heat and the dust make you tired. But the people watch out for each other. After all, they're all not in the same boat, but on the same truck.
If you get on and don't hold on properly, you fall off. That's why we sit close together. You have to hold on to someone else who will hold on to another person. If there are too many people, that's no good. Why did I get on the truck? Because the driver is careful. Also, because the road is not good. The driver is responsible for me, and he's driving slowly.
Abdoulaye Dembélé has stopped his minibus for a break in Dia, a small village along the dirt track. Some of the passengers have got off, and new ones get on to get to the market. It's up to the drivers to make sure they have enough customers. There are a lot of minibuses competing, and word gets around which car is more comfortable and faster, and which vehicle always breaks down. Careful and responsible driving also matters, but above all, people who use minibuses as a means of transport are in a hurry. It's important for Abdoulaye to arrive safely. The paths themselves are packing a punch, and he doesn't want to take additional risks by driving carelessly.
It is normal on the bad paths that there are no petrol stations along the way, and they take long. You need the entire day just for one way. You can't go back and forth twice. You can only drive one way in one day because the way is so difficult.
Through the cracks, dust gets into the minibus. It gets into everything, including the passengers' pores. There is more dust than air to breathe. The temperature rises to almost 60 degrees. Your skin dries out. There's no escape. Grit your teeth and hold on.
People have to put up with great hardship, all because of the bad roads. The drivers also have problems. It's slippery everywhere because they refuse to upgrade the roads. If the roads were good, many mishaps wouldn't happen. But this is part of our work as traders. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't be traveling here.
In places where hardly anyone travels, and vehicles rarely break the savannah's silence with their noise, there is hustle and bustle on market days. It's rush hour on Mali's dirt tracks. The roads are full of people and their animals. Since the dirt tracks are not made for a lot of vehicles, dicey situations occur again and again.
Did you see, when he went by us so closely, we bent forwards to protect ourselves from the dust. That's why we fear the car. Horse and carts are better. We don't like cars. They get up to a lot of nonsense. We drive very slowly. I'm afraid of cars.
Since minibuses and trucks started driving on the dirt tracks along with the donkey and horse carts, there have been more accidents. The different speeds don't go together well. The horses are spooked because they're not used to having cars speed past them like lightning. They are used to a different pace. Life in the savannah has a more leisurely rhythm than life in the city. For these people, a horse and cart is still the most affordable means of transport. It doesn't need a petrol station or garage. Minibuses are a threat to this infrastructure.
There is competition between us, absolutely. They don't want us to transport people. If everyone can make some money, that's good. But they want to take all our passengers, and we're left with nothing. That's the way it is.
The horse and donkey carts are still in the majority. The horse and cart approaches Diadjé, where there's a market day today. The passengers on the two trucks have also arrived in Diadjé after the trip through the bushland. Diadjé is relieved every time the transport goes smoothly. Although the villages are not far from each other, 20, 30 or 50 kilometers at the most, traveling through the wasteland is tiring even for seasoned lorry drivers. As soon as the lorries arrive, they are unloaded. The market only lasts for a few hours, so traders and customers want to make full use of them. The drivers would like a break, but Diadjé and Sékou have to inspect their lorries. They know that some things need repairing. Abdullah has also arrived in Diadjé with his minibus. He helps the passengers get out. Happy customers are important to him. He hopes that his guests value his helpfulness and friendly manner and will travel with him again. The Diadjé market is right on the river Niger. In the dry season, it can only be reached over land. Since there are no shops in most of the villages, people have to go to the markets. It's one of the few opportunities to do business and get the necessary supplies. Diadjé and Sékou's apprentices only fix things they have a knack for. Usually that's the small stuff. Screws that have got loose from vibration or the bonnet that won't close. Since the lorries are old, something always needs fixing.
When you've been driving for a week, you need to check the entire car. We were supposed to rest today, but if we did, it wouldn't be good. We need to check the car. What happened on the trip? Where did something get torn off? What's come loose? We need to maintain it all the time.
On the last trip, there was a problem with the starter. Diadjé suspects that there's an issue with the alternator. Together with his apprentice, he goes to a garage on the edge of the market to have it checked. Only larger villages have mechanics. If Diadjé's lorry breaks down in the bush, he's out on his own. Diadjé knows his lorry's kinks and glitches very well. Before he goes out on the dirt track again tomorrow, he wants to make sure that his truck is in a good state. The market finishes in the early evening. People are going home. The wind blowing the dust across the savannah has died down. Temperatures will cool off overnight, but only for a few hours. Diadjé has taken some customers and their goods to a remote village before sunrise. He's traveling in the land of the Pearl, a tribe of cattle farmers who live as nomads all over Western Africa. The Pearl roam the savannah with their cattle, always looking for food for their animals. Except for animals and a few shepherds, Diadjé meets no one. If his truck breaks down now, he will be alone with his apprentice, a helper, and a few passengers. There's no mobile reception for getting help. It's an eerie emptiness.
There are no mechanics, no garages, no spare parts depots along the way. If we break down, we need to fix it ourselves. Sometimes there are highwaymen. That can be scary. It's happened to me twice. They made people get off the car and had them lie down on the ground. They searched their pockets and took off. They let everyone go on. They didn't kill anyone. They didn't even shoot their guns. They just shoot the air, threaten you, take your money, and disappear again.
Today, bandits are not the problem. Diadjé feels that something is wrong with the truck's chassis. He calls his apprentice to check what's wrong.
I'll get off. Move the prop shaft a bit. Oh, just shake it a bit and check it. Look at the back. Twist the prop shaft to and fro. In the center. Check the center. What's it like? Still working? If it's still okay, that's fine. We'll change the ball bearings when we get there. Do we continue? We're off.
Although his apprentice didn't find anything, Diadjé wants to be on the safe side. He prefers to trust his instincts and experience instead of assuming that the ball bearings of the prop shaft will hold out.
Not 2 weeks go by without us having to weld something. These trucks are old. We weld something on every trip. You set off and something breaks and you need to change the spring.
Diadjé and Sékou drive a legendary French vehicle, a Berliet lorry. Even though production stopped over 30 years ago, Sékou can't think of a better lorry for the desert and the savannah.
This Berliet is my fifth one. The fifth! We never sold any of them. We drive them until they break down. Only when they don't work anymore, we'll buy a new one. The broken lorries are spare part stocks for this one. One of the broken ones is our pharmacy. If anything is missing here, we'll take it out of there and put it in here.
Back in town, Diadjé wants to get replacement ball bearings for his prop shaft. Since there is no supplier for parts like that, he checks one of Sekou's old Berliet lorries. It was left on the edge of a square. Diadjé and his apprentice check if the ball bearings really are better than the ones in his truck. The men are skeptical. Diadjé prefers to buy new ones. Diadjé would never take his truck to the next bigger town where there is a spare parts depot. He would be gone for days and his losses would be enormous. That's why he asks Abdoulaye.
The centre ball bearing's no good. We checked it and it's unusable. When you go to Djenné, can you get me one? No problem, I can bring you one. Will you make it to Messina? We'll make it to Messina. When I go to Djenné, I'll look for one for you.
Once a week is cleaning day. The lorries should shine in their old glory. It's a task for Diadjé's apprentice.
We wash the engine so it can recover. When there is a lot of dirt on it, it gets hot. That's why we remove the oil and everything. Then it won't get so hot. And it can also happen that the engine is covered in dirt, and then a screw falls off somewhere and you can't even see it because of all the dirt. You see nothing.
The water from the river Niger inspires the men to clean especially thoroughly, and also because the whole process is a refreshment for them.
Oh man, that path is a disaster. Couldn't be any worse. Look, Usman, you start before sunrise and drive until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If there was a road with tarmac to Tenenku, we'd need no more than 2 hours. Yes, no more than 2 hours.
Before the trip can continue, a flat tire needs changing.
Are you done? Let's go. It's okay like this. Put it in. If the nuts don't go in easily, leave them. Your pettiness bothers me. You always keep a sharp eye on me. Do your job and let me do mine. You're making me nervous here.
It's late before the lorries can leave. For the drivers, it's not a problem. They can camp anywhere. But first, they have to take their passengers home. The advantage of driving at night is that the air cools down. Besides, the lorries can go faster. In the beam of their headlights, they can make out potholes and ditches more easily. Sekou, Diadjé and Abdoulaye have made camp in the middle of the savannah with their colleagues. They feel at home here and enjoy their trucker lives. It's been a long day. They're hungry. It'll be a quick meal. The men talk about their vehicles, the state of the dirt tracks and the weather. During the dry season, they are on the road day and night, even at the weekend. In those 7 months, they earned the money for the entire year. A few hours of sleep, and they start again. Early in the morning, it's already getting hot again. It hasn't rained in months. Lots of villages in the Savannah are far away from the important transport routes. For those people, it's a blessing to have a lorry come to them once a week. This way, they can shop at the faraway market. Sekou personally makes sure that every passenger pays up. The fare is equivalent to about 50 cents. Not a lot for the almost hour-long trip, but for people who have very little, it's a lot of money. Sekou will take anyone who wants to come along. There is no maximum number of people who can find space on the truck. The people wouldn't get to the market without the lorry. Sekou is proud of the fact that he is indispensable for the inhabitants of the region.
As far as the roads are concerned, my father built himself a reputation in his day. Then I came along and, thank God, was able to build up a reputation too. My father's car, where it didn't go, no market could develop, and I'm the same. Where I can't go, no other car can go. There won't be a market. I've really made my mark.
The donkey cart means that the market is not far now. For most people, market days are the only distraction in the everyday drabness. What people in other places take for granted, like shopping and selling the bare necessities, becomes a major exertion and fight for survival in Mali's savannah. People have to travel for an entire day to get a few tomatoes, fruit, some noodles, the occasional piece of meat, and a bar of soap.
The road means great discomfort for anyone on such a trip around here. The road's not good. The way people get on the truck, we're standing on our feet from one place to the next. It's great agony. Your legs don't get any relief. That's what makes it so hard.
Abdoulaye sets out to cross the Niger. At this time of year, the river is a mere stream compared with its size after the rainy season. In some places then, it gets so broad you can't see the other side. Abdoulaye wants to get the ball bearing for Diadjé's lorry in Djenné. The town is 150 kilometers away. The Niger is like a border. On the other side of the river, the vegetation is lusher and the roads are paved. Driving a taxi is no dream job for Abdoulaye. He does it to feed his family.
I'm the oldest and have 3 younger brothers. They put all their hopes in me, Abdoulaye. If someone gets ill, I step up. If someone needs something, I step up. That's why I came to Tenenkul to work. I've never seen anyone from the town who goes to work in the village or bush. If they see me here driving in the bushland, I'll be poorly off.
The tarmacked roads of the bigger towns tempt people to drive faster, so accidents happen. A lorry loaded with tons of corn wanted to overtake another truck and spun out of control. Since there was little traffic at night, there wasn't a pileup. The drivers were lucky. They got off with minor injuries. Abdoulaye has reached Djenné with its marvelous clay mosque. In the town centre, right on the main square, he knows of a trader who stocks spare parts for Berliet lorries.
I need a ball bearing. What kind of ball bearing? One for our Berliet lorry. This is a ball bearing for the center. How much is it? Give me 5,000 for it. Oh, big brother, 5,000's a lot for that. Yeah, times are tough around here. I think 5,000's a good price. Let's not ramble on. Let's agree on 4,000 now. Oh, my dear man. Give it to me for 4,000. You know we don't make much money with our old vehicles.
On the other side of the Niger, in the Massina region, Sekou and his lorry arrive at the market. His passengers have survived the journey pretty shaken but unscathed. They have only a few hours to look around and do business before they go back. Most of them know each other, as they regularly take the lorry to the markets. But as they belong to different peoples who live in this area, they often don't speak the same language. Sekou is warmly welcomed by the village elders. They have known him since he was a boy and used to accompany his father here. Along the Niger, there are always markets. Big cattle markets are rather rare. From far away, as far as the Sahara and neighboring countries, Mauritania and Niger, come the cattle traders. Often they travel for days and weeks to sell their livestock. The chances to do business are good, because the Pearl like to buy cattle, sheep and goats to restock their herds and flocks. Sekou, Diadjé and their apprentices and helpers are sitting in the shadow of the lorries, waiting for the market to end. They're resting before the next trip. They're a community which sticks together.
For example, in the rainy season, a car can get stuck. Then it's easier when several people travel together. Also, when one of them breaks down, many people can help out. When the car doesn't start, you can help each other out, and when something else breaks down, you get together and fix it together.
The radiator is leaking. On the way back from Djenné, Abdoulaye has problems with his minibus. A mechanic fixes the leak temporarily. If Abdoulaye wants to get to the agreed meeting point with Diadjé in time, he has to hurry. Abdoulaye made it just in time, before Diadjé sets out again.
Here, I got you this. Ah, that's it. That's exactly it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for trusting me.
Diadjé doesn't have time to fit the ball bearing. He's running late already. He hopes that the prop shaft will last until the next stop. But first, the passengers need to take their places. The engine must be running, and none of the passengers must fall off the lorry. The dirt tracks have no beginning and no end. It's a never-ending circulation between the villages along the dirt tracks for many months. When the rainy season comes, they disappear until they reappear again, made by the drivers and their cars.
Oh no, it doesn't get boring. It's work. It's your livelihood. So you have to work. And everyone has their very own work. Understood? Day and night. It doesn't get boring. It's our work after all. And our work is this because we love it.
However well the drivers know the way, it will always be a trip into the unknown.